Welcome to Nintendo Voice, your voice for everything Nintendo. This is episode 4, being recorded on the 29th of May 2015. My name's Lewis Pugh, and joining me to talk Nintendo, we have Colin Crompton.
Hello, hello.
So it's just the two of us today,
Yes.
but we do have a full-length show. We're going to start off with a feature we've not done yet, which is the self-explanatory what we've been playing. We're then going to move on to our feature called Amazing Amiibo. No words on that one yet. Then we're going to move on to listener questions. And you have very kindly sent us your questions we'll go through. And to finish things up, as normal, we have the bonus round. So we've got your previous question to go through and a new one to give out. So, jumping in with what we've been playing, how would you like to start, Colin?
Yes. By the way, I love on the show notes you put me down as Monster Hunter, which is not the case.
I did put in brackets, obviously, as well.
No. I've got a new game through. I'm going to do the full title, and it's quite lengthy. So, Puzzle and Dragon Z plus Puzzle and Dragon Super Mario Bros. TM Edition. Yes.
It's quite a lengthy title.
It's quite a lengthy title, but it's actually, well, I mean, it's two games in one, so it's to be expected.
Sure.
But
I like how Nintendo, I mean, obviously over here they could have just changed the name.
They could have done, yeah.
They could have just called it Puzzle and Dragons Z and Mario or something.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Well,
but no, they had to put the title in twice because it is two distinct games.
Two distinct games, yeah. I mean, yeah. So, yeah.
So what's it like then?
Well, it's heavily inspired. It's the people who made this game, which is Gung Ho Entertainment, very clearly like Pokemon, because well, as for Puzzle and Dragon Z, because that's what I've been playing the most.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the original game didn't have a story mode. It was purely a puzzle game for phones.
I believe that's correct. Yeah, like you'd have the puzzle element, and you would have some sort of shop kind of gambly type element to.
I'm pretty sure
you could like pay for stuff and hopefully get like better eggs or monsters or something.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, then you just go straight back to the puzzle. Yeah, I don't believe there's any sort of adventure.
Well, the adventure mode is ripped straight out of Pokemon. The way it starts. Okay, so it starts off. You go to his headquarters. You meet the old professor. He gives you a choice of 3 eggs.
That does sound like Pokemon.
They're blue, green, and red.
Yeah.
But I say he gives you the choice, but then he gives you all 3, so that's a slight differentiation. So he gives you all 3, and
you kind of like Pokemon Yellow.
You
kind of get them all in the end. If you're not versed of that particular version of Pokemon.
that was the best version of that game. But yeah, and there's an evil organisation out there.
Are they called Team something?
They are. I can't remember the name because they only pop up rarely. But Paradox, the Team Paradox.
Oh, they are called Team Paradox.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, this is completely ripped of Pokemon then.
And their major plan is, we're going to capture all the monsters and enslave them. And
wait a minute. Is this like some sort of alternative reality story to Pokemon?
Do you know what?
Where the main character is the bad guy because he's trying to catch them all.
Possibly.
And he doesn't realise the implications of what he's actually doing, and he's gonna throw out the natural order of everything.
Chaos in the Pokemon world. And you know what? Possibly, but it follows the template so well, and it's remarkable. But it's quite.
I just want to check something with you here. When you say like when you go into here and like they offer you the 3 eggs and so on, are you actually controlling a character?
Yes, you control. You get to choose at the beginning if you'll be a boy or girl.
As in, like you use the D-pad and he walks around.
Yes.
Opposed to like, I was imagining this as some some overhead view, and like you would see a village and like Puzzle Quest type thing, and then you would move across to.
It's a top-down. You run through. There's so far I've only come across one major city, and that's the city you start in.
Yeah.
Which seems to be like a hub town, really. So I'm guessing that's the only town you ever go to. You top down. You can talk to villagers. And they'll give you hints and tips and things. And I mean, any major difference between this and Pokemon is obviously the combat system, the core gameplay, which is this puzzle game. Mastery puzzle game. Um, so yeah, they could have called this game Pokemon Puzzle Edition, which
Yeah, that would hearing this would seem like the more obvious like
mm,
collaboration to do instead of do the Mario edition, you do the
yeah.
Pokemon edition.
But I mean,
Hmm.
yeah. So it's yeah, it takes a lot from Pokemon. So my major gripe with the game so far is it is the amount of hand holding in this game will beat Skyward Sword any day.
Okay, I mean, in what sort of sense is handholding involved in this like puzzle adventure game? Is it the
Well,
actual puzzle bit or?
both. I mean, okay.
Okay,
So when you first get your eggs, it explains how the hatching process works and this, that, and the other, and then you go through a whole lot of text, and I mean a lot. There's a lot of talk um, about the world, what's going on. This there's a shop. You could buy items here by pressing the A button and things like that. And so okay, um,
and then you get turned into a wolf.
no.
Okay, sorry.
And then you get introduced to the bad guys, and they explain what they're doing. And then so you go into this dungeon inside the town, but dungeons aren't. You can't run around the dungeons. Your character's on like a track.
Okay.
He automatically runs and he hits just like random enemies that you have to
Hmm.
fight. Of course, you hit your first random battle, and they go into detail how the match 3 system works. You match 3 gems and you attack.
Okay.
That's yeah. And then the next battle they explain like skills, and in the next battle they explain something else, and so the whole first dungeon is one long tutorial, and it goes on for like 30 minutes or so. It's quite lengthy, and they explain all the intricacies. And
So, do you think the game has told you all the different like actions you can do now in the puzzle mode?
well, as far I got to the point where they stopped giving me instructions.
So, can you actually, when you're in the puzzle mode, can you do stuff beyond, like sliding these puzzle pieces around?
You got two choices. You can either go through a combo using the puzzle pieces to do a major attack, or if you build up enough of this energy gauge that appears, you can use a skill, which does like a set amount of damage,
Okay.
guaranteed amount of damage, or you can heal or defend.
So, I guess that's the
Yeah.
actual goal: is you're actually slowly depleting health from your opponent
Yes.
by doing
Yeah.
different combos and so on, and also attacks.
The bigger combo you do, the more multiplier gets, and you could do insane damage. Yeah. Again, I mean, I'm not sure the addition of an adventure mode, like the actual story mode, was necessary
Oh, okay.
because the gameplay is incredibly addictive. You just want to get into the next battle and do the next puzzle battle as quickly as you can.
They needed to add something to separate it from the mobile game, because I guess that's why it's as popular as it is, at least in Japan, is because if
Yeah.
that core gameplay is just really good and addictive, and you just want to keep playing, that's
Mhm.
kind of what the mobile game is, I guess.
It is, but I mean, okay, so this is where it goes a bit strange because the Mario edition
Yeah.
is a lot quicker, gameplay wise,
Ah.
because you can't run around the town or anything. It's on like a
Oh,
you
in
just
terms of when you're not in the puzzle mode. Yeah.
you start in World 1-1,
Yeah.
and it's just you run and you get into battles really quickly. So that goes a lot faster to go through.
Okay, but I guess the puzzle game itself is basically the same but reskinned.
It is, yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, it claims that on the back of the case, like, oh, collect and evolve over 250 monsters, and it's like, yeah,
That does sound very Pokemon.
it is. I mean, so basically, it is the puzzle edition of Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's the closest thing I can equate it to. But it's very good, very addictive.
Cool. Well, you may have actually sold me a copy. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in your impressions there that I wasn't aware of about this game. Just also wondering, for the what price did you get this for? Was it like a discount price? Was it like full regular 3DS?
I paid a very low price considering. I
Yeah.
mean, I ordered it a week ago, and I paid £18
Ooh.
89p.
Okay, this is probably only useful for a small portion of our audience, other people who are in the UK. But where did you buy that
Amazon.
one from? From Amazon. Oh, there you go. Well, hopefully wherever you are, you can also find a good deal on this game. So is this a recommendation from yourself, or do you wanna?
Yeah, I would. No, I definitely recommend it just for the core gameplay. I mean, you do have to sift through a lot of tutorials and
Yeah.
talk, but the core gameplay is definitely worth it.
Actually, I do have a quick question. it seems, hopefully, it's an obvious thing they've put in. Is there just like a quick play button? So if you just don't want to worry about adventuring and all that, can you just play the game in some sort of progressive difficulty?
No.
No? Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, when you start the game off, it automatically starts from the Super Mario Bros. Edition,
Yeah.
and then you get to choose between the two games. When you go into Puzzle and Dragon Z, it'll say story mode,
Yeah.
where it just continue your new game,
Yeah.
and when you click continue, it kicks you into the town, and
Mhm.
so
Yeah, I guess you got the two modes that bounce back and forth from there.
exactly, yeah.
That's pretty cool. Okay, well, myself, I've very recently been playing Splatoon because it came out today.
Hey.
Although I've not been playing it as much as I would like because I had this annoying thing called work for the first
Oh,
half of the day, um,
yeah.
which is annoying in itself. But then I went out with family and in the evening, which isn't as annoying. I'll give it that. But it did take me away time that I could have been using to put into Splatoon. So I've only had about a couple of hours into the game, and I've also been watching my wife play the game as well.
Ah.
Um, so it's going to be very brief impressions, first of all. But from what I've played, I still like it a lot. I'm not sure you're not too surprised.
No.
Nah, I didn't think you would be. But yeah, when you start the game, you are chucked into that plaza. Um, After actually a very short tutorial, which is a bit odd actually, because you kind of do this tutorial before you even get to any sort of title screen or menu screen or anything.
Oh, okay.
So it's quite short. Well, you do it in like a matter of probably 5 minutes or so, but it's still a fair chunk of gameplay before it says, "This is Splatoon."
Yeah, press start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, at that point yeah, it chucks you straight into the plaza, and the game in fact suggests that you go straight into the main like battle zone, which is like the online area.
They don't recommend that you get like practice in first,
No, no,
or
that's the thing. I mean, they haven't been shying away that this isn't like an online focused game, but I thought they may have like pointed you in the direction of the adventure mode,
hmm. Yeah.
and like to train up your
So you
skills
can
before
get
you go online.
adjusted to the
But
controls
no,
and
the game suggests it doesn't enforce it, but yeah, it suggests go on, go play online, enjoy the game, as the first thing you do, which took me back a bit. But yeah, I jumped. That's what I did, and I had quite a few good games. So it's already got like a good community, I'd say. I mean, it's tricky with the well, it's not tricky, but you don't have the communication in game as such with voice chat or anything like that. But in terms of just kind of, it's hard to describe it like just I don't want to. I want to say something like friendliness and good nature, but that kind of implies communication.
mm.
But I mean, there's an active user base as you probably expect at the launch of a game. Waiting for matches doesn't take long at all. Um, but something which I wasn't necessarily aware of is you don't necessarily, well, you don't get to choose your weapon off the bat. You start
Oh,
with what is the junior splatter shot,
mm.
which answers my question: why would you necessarily choose that above the regular splatter shot?
Yeah.
Although there are some differences, I guess some may prefer it. But that's because that is the first weapon you get. Um, and you need to level up to level 4, I think it is, in order for you to actually be able to go into the shops and be able to purchase, regardless even if you have enough cash, different weapons, and then start buying different gear and so on. So it does kind of pigeonhole you down like a certain route before it lets you explore the different options.
Mm. So the level up system, how does it work? Does it just you get experience at the end of a successful
Basically,
battle?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so it's kind of it goes with how well you perform in that match, and when you complete a match of Splatoon, it tells you what your kind of rank was compared to everybody else,
No.
and that includes, I guess, your teammates and the other people's teammates. So you could be on the losing team, but you could overall be the best player of the entire game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
You're just dragging your teammates along.
exactly, yeah. But your experience will reflect that, which is quite good.
Mm.
And you also get your cash as well. I'm not sure what the balance is between cash and experience. It almost seems odd to separate them if that's the only way you get it. But yeah, you get cash and experience
Yeah.
through successfully completing online games, and you can use that in the shops in the plaza. And what is a useful feature is when you're in a particular shop, you can use the trigger buttons to flip between the shops without manually walking out and walking to another. Not that it would be a long trip, so it is
That's good.
quite surprising to see the feature in the game because all the shops are kind of lying next to each other in this small plaza. It seems like it would be a feature much more welcomed in I don't know, like a, I'm not sure Zelda would be a good term because it's usually only the one shop per village, but I don't know, like a standard JRPG, I guess, where they have lots of different shops in a single location, kind of just scattered all over the place. Um, Other thing I wanted to touch on was I guess the one-player mode, which I've not played myself, but I have watched my wife play it for
Hmm.
probably about half an hour or so, and it does still remind me of Galaxy. I can't quite put my finger on what it is. I think it's something though to do with it's broken up into these short segments of stages, and just the simple fact that you get to a launch pad and you just fly from one to the other, and that just looks very Galaxy-esque. Yeah, but each stage is kind of has its own little theme, which I'm very glad of. It does seem like it does have a. I don't know what the length of this will be yet, but it is a proper one-player mode, which is separate from the
Honestly,
online
that
stuff.
was my concern was the one player was going to be a throwaway thing, and
It's
the
not.
online
Well, I
was
mean,
good.
it's hard to value that in terms of how long it will be. It might be really creative and only you can run through it in like an hour or 2 hours or something. I don't believe that's the case, but I can't confirm that at this point. But I've heard people compare this to like the campaign in Titanfall, which is an online game on the Xbox and the PC, where it's the big focus again was online multiplayer, and there was this little thing you could do on your own, but that was basically a tutorial.
Mm.
And the in quote story mode was that you could play regular online matches, and they would basically put like a cutscene at the end of the match,
Yeah.
and you would have a little guy talking to you throughout the match, who would be kind of portraying story across. But this is just leagues different. Uh, in fact, I think it's a really good example of a shooter doing a good experience for online and a good but different experience.
Oh, so it gets the balance perfect.
I
You would
believe
say.
so because
Oh.
I think where it could have failed is it introduced like lots of unique one-player weapons and items and moves, and essentially made them like different things. But you do use the same weapons, and you use the same techniques, and they're on the same button mappings and so on. But they use them for like puzzle purposes and to help you like get from place A to place B, or like
Mm.
to get around different types of enemies, which you wouldn't get on the online game. But in theory, you could apply those same skills to online matches, just because you are using the same weapons and you're using the same controller and the same moves.
Yeah.
So even though you're competing against different types of challenges, you're just kind of getting more experience as a player, and so I like that approach. But yeah, they're not like arena based stuff. They are just what you would they're kind of what you would expect like a Mario type platforming level, but less emphasis on the jumping and put a gun in his hand. But it is creative
So I'm guessing
challenges.
the actual it's not about claiming territory. It's that
It's
you're
not,
given
no.
alternate objectives like
Yeah, they
wipe
usually
out
are
something.
just to get to the end of the level as such. But
Oh, okay.
there's lots of unique like things which stop you,
Mm.
from that point A to B, and you obviously need to overcome them. But yeah, I like it. I mean, the one like although I say you can like get transfer your gaming skills from one mode to the other. That's basically it because you can earn different currencies in each mode, and you get different upgrades and equipments in each mode.
Yeah,
But
and they.
none of them
I'm guessing the upgrades do not carry over.
exactly. There's nothing which technically travels from the one mode to the other, despite you do use the same types of equipment and the same moves and the controls and so on.
Well, that's good. It's like having two separate games almost.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's really nicely done. Um, and what I also think is interesting, and it's a good move in Nintendo's part at least, was I very much like the motion control aiming in this game. I kind of relate to it almost like how you can aim with a mouse on a PC. So it seems odd, but it kind of enables this kind of twitch movement, and
Okay.
and you can kind of stop on a dime once you've got used to it, and then like flick back to the angle you want.
Hmm.
But you can also go very slow when you need to. And I really like that, and I kind of got used to that quite quickly.
Is there a way to have it like so the right stick does the aiming?
Yes,
Or
that's what I was about to say.
good.
Well, in the default mode, the right stick still does aiming,
Ah,
but it's
it works in conjunction with the motion.
yes, and so I would traditionally use that for when like going around corners,
Ah.
but while also kind of just balancing my aim kind of with the gamepad.
Hmm. So
Um,
basically, you can just switch the gyro off on the controller.
yeah, that's what I wanted to go on to. When Lucy was playing the game, she really couldn't get on with the motion controls,
Hmm.
and the first thing she wanted to do was, in fact, switch them off and just go to normal, dual stick controls. And thankfully,
The option's there,
Nintendo
yeah, so that's
provides that
good.
option, and which all companies should do if you're going to do something weird with the controls.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Nintendo has been foul of not providing that
Not
option
providing an option.
or a alternative option when they have done interesting controls in the past. So I'm
Yeah.
very glad that they are letting you do their new weird intuitive in quotes way, as well as what people consider the normal method.
Yeah, I think Skyward Sword's biggest offender of that. I
Good point.
mean,
And
it's
even like examples like oh wait, which you said Skyward Sword, didn't you?
yeah,
Yeah, even things like Twilight Princess when they brought it over,
exactly, yeah,
when you had to just shake the remote or the Wii remote you used to swing your sword. When why didn't they also let you use the GameCube controller because there was the whole GameCube version? But no, you had to use that Wiimote and nunchuck, despite
that's right.
the other control option being made.
Yeah, they could just transfer it. And yeah, the main difference is obviously just the game's flipped and it's in widescreen. They're the only two major differences. But they could have easily implemented GameCube control support. But
Yeah,
nah,
yeah. No, I think it's
odd.
actually in many ways I think this is a very progressive game for Nintendo because not only do you have like different control options, not only is it an online focused game, and it's in the game itself it points you to go online straight away. Um, you also you can create your own character, and you could be a boy and a girl, but beyond that, you can choose your skin tone right off the bat, and kind of the sense of like changing gear and like all the different fashion options. It just seems quite like Nintendo gets it, and it's a lot of the time it seems like Nintendo doesn't get it. Um,
Yeah, they always seem a little bit behind
yeah,
when it
but
comes to
it
these things.
seems there's
But
like so many things that it's just hitting right with Splatoon. I mean, there are some which, like the big elephant in the room, like the whole new voice chat and so on.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, but there is so much Nintendo's getting right with this game, and it's just really awesome. And the ultimate thing of this, I mean, it does have lots of these great like bullet point and the checklist things that it does. Um, but the ultimate thing is it's just really fun to play. And Lucy picked up on that straight away. She played it for I don't know 10 minutes or so, and she just I can't remember the exact wording she said, but she just this game is just fun. And yeah, she was
yeah.
stuck on it then for absolutely ages.
Which that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to playing more of that. And I'm not sure the listeners are aware of this. I because of this nice big game, and actually it's not really anything to do with it, but I'm going on holiday tomorrow, so I won't be playing much of it until a week's time. So brilliant timing all round. Yeah, but hey, can't really complain on a holiday. Anyway, I think we've covered both of the games we've been playing, so let's move on now to our feature, Amazing Amiibo. So
The title's one-sided already.
there's nothing anyone dislikes about Amiibo, right?
Yes.
I
Oh,
don't
there is.
believe it.
Uh,
What can you like
Here we go.
about your favourite Nintendo characters in physical form, and being able to interact with your games?
I have no problem with
Excellent. Let's move on to
Nintendo characters being in physical form. The interaction of the game part is where I draw issues with Amiibo.
Okay, well, you say your main issue is about how they actually interact. So what's wrong
Yeah.
with it?
Well, I could run you down a list. So these are like my top five. If you like, I could do it that way.
And all these 5 things are to do with how they interact, are
No,
they?
true. Actually, the first point is though, and it's
Okay.
functionality. It is never always clear what Amiibo will do to any specific game.
Now that's a fair point. Yeah, no, I can't really say much against this one. I mean, even if you like have the original box at hand it comes in, they don't
Yeah.
really help much.
No, it
In
just says
fact, I
this.
think they
Yeah, just
plain
root.
lie to you. Because I looking at one of the things it says is that you could store your Mii's on it. Is that an actual
Yeah.
feature?
Um,
Have I missed that option?
I don't think you can. I've never tried it,
Is
but
it like how you could store your Mii's in Wii remotes on the Wii? Like, did they just silently bake it into the OS that you can now store your Mii's into Amiibo?
that's the thing. I've never been prompted to do it, so
It might be one of those hidden features, but that's one of the things the box claims you it will do. But the other big one is like play as your character, but I don't think any of the games actually let you do that.
no. But even Smash is like, oh, you can put your Amiibo. It's like, yeah, but you don't actually get to control it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just you get to train it, and that's it.
So is your main issue that you don't think it's
I just don't think it's clear enough. I think the actual well, it's just functionality. I mean, the idea of using an Amiibo is never clear what it will do to a specific game.
yeah? And I guess you could also extend that, and I'm not sure why I'm backing up your side
Yeah,
here.
but back me up.
But this is just maybe like a fight of I'm pro Amiibo and you're anti Amiibo. But yeah, as well as not knowing what it will do, if you did know what it would do, what games would it do it with?
Mm,
There's not a clear. I don't think there's even like an official checklist which says these are the Amiibo compatible games and these are the compatible Amiibo.
yeah, I mean,
You
it'd be
know?
nice if it was like they just showed you what it did, but I mean, but this brings on to me. This brings me on to my second point, which is actual usage.
Okay.
Now, okay, so what Amiibo brings to the table for the Wii U is it's just very, very shallow DLC.
Mostly yes.
You can't argue against that point because it is. It's mainly stuff that would be unlockable in most other games, but they've now locked it behind. I pay $14.99 for my Amiibo, so it's like locking it behind a $14.99 passcode, essentially.
Well, I think there's 2 examples of where they don't do that, but I don't think they are good examples. Um, the examples are firstly Smash Bros. Now, you could argue that you could just have that functionality across the board that you can create
Yeah,
like bots, like in the old reference, but in Perfect Dark for the N64.
yeah,
You could have bots and you could kind of give them different personalities. They could have a system like that.
yeah,
But the slight advantage with the way they use it with Amiibo is that in theory, um, gamers of the appropriate age could take their toys to each other's houses, and then have their trained Amiibo fight each other. Which is not. You could argue I guess the usefulness of that feature, but
yeah. But
that is
I
something that DLC wouldn't necessarily just let you do.
true, true. Yeah, okay, that's a fair point. But I would say, I mean, I just can't see too many people doing that. Essentially, because surely you want to play unless you do like a 2-on-2 battle with your Amiibo backing you up.
Exactly, yeah, because I think you were just about to say it, that would make more sense
Yeah,
if it was just giving you buffs to
yeah.
your own character. And so
That'd
you
be
could
that'd
have like 2 people who are competitive at Smash Bros. But on addition to them just trying to outskill each other, they were also training up an Amiibo, which will let them add like different
yeah,
stamps or stats or whatever as
exactly.
bonuses on top of that.
And you have like basically like Super Link or your own version
Yeah,
of that.
and then it's almost like adding like a Pokemon type element to Smash
Yeah,
Bros. Because you're training as well as being just more tactical at playing the game.
exactly. Yeah,
Cool.
but yeah, but I was saying the actual usage for me, I mean, a lot of it just feels like it's been crowbarred in on
Yeah,
top of a game, and that's the problem. That's the problem. It's just it's
and it does seem odd because Nintendo isn't usually the company to do that.
no, that's the thing. Usually they're all about if they're going to do extra content, they usually make it big and extravagant, and
Yeah,
it's not. I say it's very very shallow, but it's
yeah,
mainly it's skins and things like that.
yeah, and usually their fault is the opposite way round, is that they come out with a new peripheral
Yeah,
with a great idea, and maybe they follow up with a second idea, and then it's usually that it's left until the next idea comes round. But it seems with Amiibo that they're really strong on the idea of Amiibo and selling these figures, but still haven't come up with that one
they haven't
golden
quite worked
idea.
out what to do with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Also, I want to say in the background, I've been plugging through the settings of my Wii U, like including the the Me Maker, and I can't find any options to send Mii's to Amiibos. So I think they are lying to us.
See, Amiibo bad.
Yeah, so I feel I need to bring some positive stuff to the
Sure.
Amiibo discussion.
I'll be happy to debunk these positives.
Well, the first thing is, I mean, most of these Toy Life platforms, you have figures which work with a particular game.
Hmm.
And because I guess the strength of all the different Nintendo characters from many different games, the Amiibos themselves can work on lots of different games. And I mean, the Amiibos haven't been around for like a super long time yet, assuming this is something that Nintendo wants to keep, running alongside their consoles for years in the future.
Hmm.
Currently, we've got Splatoon, Mario Party 10, Smash Bros, Codename Steam, Hyrule Warriors, Captain Toad, very soon Yoshi Woolly World, Kirby's Canvas Curse. I mean, that's a lot of games in the period of time Amiibo have been available for.
True.
And again, I mean, we're coming up with the point of there's not a single great idea, but the fact that you get this like a single figure for say, it's a bit tricky when you get prices worldwide, but it's the equivalent of say $10 to $15 or euros or pounds. The fact that in theory, and again, assuming you choose the right one, it can work on like over half a dozen games, and some. That's quite a nice deal proposal. I mean, assuming you also get a figure that you like in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's good that you get the one thing, and even though you only get little bits of stuff, you get a lot of little bit of stuff. But yeah, I like the fact that instead of some of their previous good ideas, which only they do one or two things with, they are putting this in pretty much all of their big games.
Yeah, but I said it just falls back again. I mean, they're doing it, and it's fine, but it's still not great usage, and that's the issue.
That's true.
It's
I mean,
great. They can add Amiibo support all they like, as long as it's worthwhile.
that's true. But I'm sure we will, and I'm sure they are making that like one single great
Yeah.
thing, which every single Amiibo will work with.
See,
You
I
get
would-
the
I would
actual
say,
characters in the game,
Mm.
and they do it properly, and they do all that stuff. And I'm sure that's in the works.
Yeah, I would say that usage is getting better. I mean, the Splatoon usage is actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's an odd one, yeah, because in one way I think it is the best. Um, I don't think it's the best example of Amiibo uses, but I think it's the best value
Yeah.
that you can get out of an Amiibo. Because yeah, there's 3 of them from the Splatoon set, and each one of them will get you one of those arcade games which you can play during the waiting time between matches. And I think that's cool enough on its own, to be completely honest. And that's the last thing they announced about them.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, the main thing is that you get a bunch of missions to go through, and these are admittedly like spins off the original missions, but you have to tackle them in a different way with like a different weapon or with like time restrictions or something.
It's
But
like
they
a
give
challenge mode type.
exactly, it gives you more challenges. But if you do beat them, you get some exclusive uh, costumes as such for your squid to wear. And so yeah, you get those kind of free things. You get missions, outfits, and the minigame. Um, and I think for a figure which, if you were interested in the character anyway, they're cool looking figures. But yeah, I think that's would probably be a fairly well. I'm just trying to work out what would you pay for that as DLC content without the figure,
Hmm.
if you were into Splatoon, assuming
I
in the first
mean,
place.
yeah, it's. I'm not quite sure it. I would pay what covers the cost of the amiibo for
Yeah, I'm
those
not
features.
sure it would, but I think I'd easily pay for like almost. Oh, it's tricky having having the free. But if they just introduced one of them
Hmm.
and said, "Oh, it's a fiver," I
Yeah.
think I might buy it
Well, I mean, they could
because
make
it
it as a
sounds
pack,
like
you
a
know.
good deal. I think if you just list those things out,
Yeah.
you get a little arcade game. You get some exclusive costume, and you get a bunch of missions. And I think it's like a dozen or more.
Hmm.
That's a fair bit of stuff to go through.
That's actually yeah. That's very good. But I mean,
But
again,
yeah, it's not something which was you need an amiibo in existence to do.
no,
That again,
exactly.
that could have been DLC. It
They
could have been
could have done,
free. It
yeah,
could have been
exactly.
paid. Whatever. But
That's the problem.
that's the thing.
That's
Well, I mean, let's look at some of the. I think part of it needs to be, and you can't. I don't think you can separate this. Is like obviously amiibo are only going to be attractive to people who would like the idea of a literal Nintendo figure in the first place.
exactly, yeah,
So that's the audience,
yeah,
and that's fine, really. That's what they're working with. But what I like that they're doing is, and it's something that they've shown off with the new Yoshi amiibos, which are the woolen ones. And I do like the idea of just kind of messing up this new formula that they've made.
mm.
And no, these figures don't have to be plastic. They can be cards, or they can be woolen dolls, essentially. And I'm quite interested to see what else, or what other different things they will actually make, which have these basically NFC scanners in them, or
Yeah,
uh, whatever the NFC chips are called. But yeah, I think it does all come back to this very central thing that there's no just central big idea you can point to and go, this is Amiibo. Um, you put your figure on it and it does this. Like
yeah,
this is the
exactly.
big thing. And it also does this in this game, and it's in this game, and it's in this game. They can be like the afterthought things, which just kind of they they're kind of they're just a wraparound. So
Mm.
like the big idea catches your attention, and then you see it does all these little things for everything else, and they kind of do the final push and sell you on it.
Yeah, I said. I mean, that's the annoying thing. It's just I would rather it have some. It just something that you couldn't do with DLC. It's just
Yeah,
because it's just you know. I mean, like Toad's Treasure Tracker, it unlocks the little toads you have to find in
yeah,
each levels, and that's not worth an amiibo in my opinion.
yeah. Oddly, I think the franchise which well, I'm not sure I tried the most is because I think Smash Bros gave it a decent first effort
Yeah,
in terms of I reckon Sakurai was lumbered with the well,
yeah.
maybe he wasn't. Maybe he just saw Amiibos in development and go, "Ooh, that's a new thing to
I
play
got the
with."
feeling he had to. They're like, well, we're going to push harder with amiibo, and
Yeah,
we need you to do something with them. He's like, oh, great.
yeah. But yeah, for what you can do in Smash Bros, I think he did well for that particular game Smash Bros is, of things you can do.
Yeah.
Um, the other game, which does do something unique with Amiibo, and I haven't played it because it hasn't had the best of reviews, but I probably will get to it eventually, is Mario Party 10.
Yeah.
Now, again, yeah, the reaction there says it all.
Yeah.
But I mean, they do use it for an unlockable thing, but there is also a mode which can only be played of them, and each turn you need to place and this is a good and a bad thing, that you place your amiibo as your counter on the gamepad, and it rolls the dice, and
Mm.
so you are kind of playing with your counters,
Yeah.
and technically you get items in the game, and they can be stored on your amiibo, and then they can be used in future games, which seems to terribly outthrow the balance of this party game.
A little bit. Yeah.
But I mean, technically, that's a use of Amiibo. But I feel that were onto something,
Hmm.
but they didn't quite get there.
So you think it's a good idea but poor execution?
Yes, I reckon Mario Party could have been the game, or at least a game, which would have shown a really good example of Amiibo. I reckon if they made that mode a lot more full-fledged, I mean, just on the face of it, it looks like you get this tiny board. If they
Yeah.
made them like, the boards from the Mario Parties we know, the N64 ones and the GameCube games, like really big, extravagant
Yeah,
boards,
extravagant boards. Yeah.
and you could maybe, because I know I think you can swap off two halves of the board in the current game, but they're all just squares.
Oh, okay.
Um, but if they did it like you had a big chunk of one of these much bigger boards,
Hmm.
and what you could do with them is basically slot them together like a weird puzzle piece and make different boards out of them, which had interesting designs in the first place. That would have been really cool.
It would have been a lot better. Yeah, have been really good.
So yeah, I just feel, and I think they did have something with like storing items and so on the characters. Again, it'd be tricky to balance the thing, but I mean, that's cool in theory. So I think hopefully they give it another stab in. And I know it's odd to suggest such a thing, but if they do a Mario Party 10 next year, I hope it comes again with an Amiibo mode, but it's much better.
Hmm.
And I also hope it takes advantage of not just the Mario characters, but that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world because there are a few of them. But yeah, I'd like to see more of these Amiibo games just use more of the Amiibos.
Hmm. I think
Which,
see now, I was going to move on to like the biggest issue with Amiibo. I think at the moment,
go on.
quite a few people will agree with, is availability.
Yeah, okay, yes.
This is, and Harrison. If Harrison was here, he'd back me up on this.
Well, I'm going to back you up on this one anyway because of my my recent experience. I mean, I secured the Amiibo I wanted, but it could have gone. Well, yeah, might not have gone that way. Basically, obviously, I got Splatoon recently, and with it, I did get the free Amiibos from that collection. And the way that they're sold over here in United Kingdom is that the Squid Amiibo you can only get with a bundle with the game itself. And I had pre-ordered this from one store, which has, I guess, infamously now had its entire stock of the special edition stolen from a truck.
Yeah,
Which I'm wondering how big this truck was.
I love that story. It's
Yeah, so I wonder if they knew what they were getting.
well,
These
they're getting
thieves.
exactly.
They got
They crack
an
over the back. And it's like,
exclusive truck of plastic squids.
Uh,
Ironically, probably worked out really well for them because the price of those things probably have skyrocketed.
probably have. Yep.
But they probably didn't know what they stumbled upon, to be honest. And if they did, that is some sort of trolling on a certain level that I
Yeah.
don't even want to associate with. That is quite scary if those thieves were aware that what they were stealing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the game's stock got stolen, and so I had an email 2 days before Splatoon's launch saying, unfortunately, our stock was stolen. You can have the standard game, and we'll even give you a little bit of a discount, which was a nice move on their part.
Mhm.
But we can't give you that Squid Amiibo. You can get the other stuff though. So I was in a position where, well, I kind of want that set of free. But if I get that standard game, there's no other way for me to get that squid unless I buy another game, and
You
that's
see,
ridiculous.
that's the problem.
Exactly, and that's why I completely
Ugh.
agree with you. So I completely cancelled my order, and I ordered it from Amazon, and thankfully they had stock, and it turned up, and everything was absolutely fine. But yeah, why? I mean, so that's two different things: the availability and Nintendo doing these weird exclusive things.
Yeah.
That Squid should never have been packaged with just a game. How does that even? I don't even understand on their part why that's good.
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense at all.
It surely just stops people potentially buying that Squid who have bought the game.
Exactly. And it's just like it's such an odd decision to make. I mean, I still believe that Nintendo should just create like a global Amiibo site that you can log
Yeah.
into and say, I want that one.
Yeah,
then-
and the other thing, then at least that would also fight all the people who are just buying them and then selling them on eBay for inflated
Exactly.
prices.
the
And I
scalpers.
don't, and I'm pretty sure Nintendo doesn't like that
I'm pretty sure too. I mean,
because one, they don't get any money off the secondary sale, and two,
exactly.
they see it sell for like triple or more the
Yeah,
price,
and they're
and
like,
they obviously don't get any of that either.
they must cry when they see that. Um, yeah.
I've got some good, some more good amiibo stuff though, which is the Yoshi Woolly World. Again, we've mentioned that they're gonna have woolen amiibo, but Nintendo recently announced some extra stuff you can do with amiibo in that game. Were you aware of what that is?
No, no, go on then. I'm just biding my time. Just
Okay, yeah, because the normal mode, which was very unimpressive from my side at least, was that you can get one of the woolen Yoshi amiibos, and you could place it on the game while you're playing in single player mode, and you would have two Yoshis,
yeah,
which you would control in
a
some fashion.
glorified co-op mode.
Exactly, it didn't sound great. But what you can also do with amiibo, ironically, is use any other amiibo beyond that woolen Yoshi amiibo, and you get a like a skin for Yoshi, a woolen skin based off that character that you scanned. And so
Right.
I think this is a great use.
I
And so
don't.
yeah,
It's,
if you
it's,
if you put Mario on there, you get this woolen Yoshi, which has like this kind of red and blue dungaree type pattern onto him, but all in that woolen design,
yeah. I
and
yeah,
it looks freaking adorable.
yeah, I get it. It's cute and all, but again, it's just a skin. This isn't great
Yeah,
usage.
but that's not buying a new amiibo. That's me, in theory, buying Woolly World, buying
True.
no new amiibos, and saying grabbing that Kirby amiibo, which famously now unlocked to me The Legend of Zelda on Amiibo Tap, and I
Yeah.
can get I can get a pink Yoshi.
Is that what you really, really want?
Well, no, so I then put Kirby back down, and I say I'll grab my Wii Fit Trainer amiibo, and I will get to see the wonders, which would be a Wii Fit woolen Yoshi. And so these are things that I obviously didn't buy the figures for,
True.
but these are just little bonuses
I
which
mean,
I'm getting after the
this
fact.
is me, but it's just hardly game changing at all. It's
No, it's not
hardly
game changing.
something that I'm gonna go out and do. You know, I'm not gonna go out and rush out and buy obviously Woody World just for my single Link amiibo that I own. You know, just to see. No, that's
Do you not see the appeal of like a Yoshi Link woolen thing running on your screen?
no. I must be missing something.
Fair enough.
uh,
Okay, well, I think we've put up a good debate on both sides. Admittedly, I think you probably had the stronger points.
mm. Well, we'll let it
But
down.
I'm still hoping that maybe next month we'll have a big announcement on a big Amiibo project, which may change this and completely on my side if they do have that big Amiibo game, which
Oh,
can
I
just
doubt it.
incorporates everything.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I really do. I mean, I want Amiibo to be like a huge thing,
Yeah.
a big deal.
But then it just goes back onto that availability problem. If
It
they
does.
do this fantastic game where you can just start playing as Captain Falcon if you got the figure,
hmm
then they just need to be selling them all. Because they can't just be in a situation where, oh right, we're not selling those Smash figures anymore,
Yeah, exactly.
but you can play them if you have them.
That's
That's a
when
very
the
weird
cards
situation
will
to
come
be
into
in.
play, I should think.
That's not. Good
But the
thinking.
trouble is, I mean, are they going to charge the same price for the cards?
I don't reckon it'll be the same price.
But that's outlandish because I mean, when we
Well, no, because a figure is still a figure, though.
yeah, you get a nice figure. That's the point. But if they do charge the same price for a card.
Oh no, I'm saying I don't think they will.
Oh, I see. Oh,
Yeah.
well,
No, yeah, I do think they will be.
I hope so.
I don't think they'll be that cheap, but they'll at least be half the price. There will be a distinctive difference
Mm,
between a card and the figure, but yeah,
I hope so.
but we'll see. We'll move on then to listener questions. ran out of questions now. I mean, we've got 3 here to answer, but we have no overspill, which we've had in the previous episodes. And we'll give out the details after we go through the questions, but please do send us in questions, because we do need them. Question number 1 is from Daniel Fugate. Will Splatoon sell as much or more than Smash and I assume he doesn't mean both combined, Mario Kart 8?
No.
Yeah, that's my initial reaction as well, is the no. I mean, we'd be incredibly surprised if it did. I mean, that would just be a huge shock.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Smash is a huge selling game. Mario Kart 8 is a huge selling game. Splatoon is a good game, but it is also a brand new IP.
Yeah, it doesn't have that recognisable IP.
Yeah, and it's launching on the Wii U. And so that's kind of its test bed, as it were. It's not like it launched on a much bigger platform and like this is the follow-up or something. So no, I don't think there's any chance of Splatoon making selling more copies than either of this franchise. Maybe its sequel or something like that down the road, possibly.
Yeah.
But not this version. I don't know. That'd be crazy if it would.
To be honest, I don't think it'll sell half of what Mario Kart 8 did.
Nah, yeah, I think you're right there as well. I mean, so what do we think would be good sales figures for Splatoon? I mean, let's start off the bat. I mean, do we think it will at least sell more than 1 million worldwide?
I think it'll break the million mark, but I think it'll just break the million mark.
Okay, I am thinking a bit more than that, but not huge. I reckon it's going to sit at the something like that 2.5 mil figure, which would be very good for a new IP for Nintendo. In the way it is, especially on the Wii U as well. I mean, when I say that phrase, I don't mean it to downplay it. It's just the fact that unfortunately there's just not as many gamers on the Wii U as there are on previous Nintendo consoles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think it's going to be a success in its own right. And it is actually good to see Nintendo is putting a lot of marketing power behind this, I've noticed. I've been seeing a lot of like quirky news stories about, there's this Splatoon featured fountain or skate park or something else. And it seems they are going out and doing stuff to get the Splatoon name out there, opposed to just putting it out there and just seeing what happens.
A stealth launch, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to a frequent question sender, Gamer P17. Who would you like to see as DLC in Smash Bros? Now, this could almost be a feature in itself.
Yeah, I mean...
So we'll have to keep it to a few key mentions.
I'll keep it to one, but I mean, it's a biggie. It is a biggie. Yeah, I'd like to see Simon Belmont from Castlevania. Just because I'd like to see Castlevania represented in Smash Bros. Because the series has got such history. It's quite it would be a bit ironic in the same way that Mega Man's featured as well. Sure.
While also not having any new games in his series, but having his creator having made his own version.
The parallels are quite.
And obviously the same is happening in Castlevania. But yeah, I could see it happening. And obviously there are very strong ties with obviously Castlevania and Nintendo over the years. And there also has been there was a release on the 3DS as well, which always helps there being a new title.
Yeah.
Being on the new platform. So yeah, I think it's a possible one. For myself, I'll get the obvious out the way, is Inkling.
I knew it was coming.
Yep. But
You're obsessed with Splatoon, man.
I am. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, I've talked about this on the previous podcasts we were on. But what I want to say is and I can't decide between one or the other, Phoenix Wright, Professor Layton.
Or both. It could be
both?
That'd be a nice little twist.
A crossover character. Yeah, you could. That'd be weird because they kind of got rid of all those Transformer characters.
That's true, yeah.
But
well, it could be like Duck Hunt Dog and.
Oh, yeah, like they're actually both. Yeah. I guess they could do that.
I'm just thinking because their movesets would be quite limited, I should think.
Yeah, that's the only problem. Maybe we just have it as Layton then, because I think he's a bit more versatile than Wright. Because Wright is just actually a lawyer.
He just shouts.
He just shouts at people. And although that makes very funny memes, I'm not sure it makes a very good moveset.
Yeah.
But well, Leighton has had his own movie, and he does do hand-to-hand combat in that with a lead pipe. And in the games itself, he made a
Uh,
makeshift machine gun out of a casino, and he has wielded a sword
that
before,
doesn't make
and
any
other weird
sense.
contraptions. So just with that small list there, we've got some moves.
That'd be a great farm smash.
And exactly, which one was that? Sorry.
You had to put the machine gun out of a casino
Yeah,
pass.
that's probably one of my favourite cutscenes in Best Leighton.
So bizarre.
Okay, we'll move on now to our final question by Geeky Crafts. Are you all playing Splatoon? And if so, what's your favourite weapon to use? So we've already answered the first part of this one. So just
Well,
me.
I'll explain things on my end.
Okay.
Um,
Because you did promise this, because we did have a question saying, are we all going to get day one? And we all said yes.
yes, I said day one. I said if not day two. Now I've had this is like a saga at the beginning. I feel like it's going to go on for a while.
So you
But
wanted this squid amiibo.
I ordered I pre-ordered a copy of Splatoon through Amazon, which
Okay.
is where I get most of my games from. And as I explained last week, they said they may not be able to fulfill it, my pre-order. So I was like, okay, I'll wait this out a bit, and then I'll see. I might cancel it and then move on and get it from my local game store, which actually is quite far away. Now today, this morning at about 10 past 9, I got a message through shipment updates saying my pre-order was now active again. Oh, great! And then I got a message an hour later saying it had been delayed. I'm like, okay, so
Peculiar.
it's currently in my order list. It says, it just says preparing for dispatch,
Hmm.
and I'm like, well, do I get it right? It doesn't give me a rough date or anything. So I'm like, this is slightly worrying. So yeah, I'm just waiting for my copy to leave the Amazon building, and then
And I think what seems to make it even more peculiar is like, from my story about trying to purchase the free
yeah,
amiibos, I changed my order from game to Amazon on the Wednesday. I mean, the only difference is that I obviously went for, because in my amiibo craze, I went for that special edition.
yeah,
So I guess the stock issue was just with the regular version,
I'm guessing so. I mean,
which seems very unfortunate.
yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna guess that you took my copy.
Yeah, maybe that happened. Maybe they just they took it out of the box and yours and go, "Oh, this guy is also buying the amiibo figures. He's giving us some more money. We'll fulfill his order instead."
But yeah, so hopefully, next time I'm on, I'll be able to something to report. But as for now,
We may have even played some online games together.
yeah, I hope
We
so.
can report back on that.
Oh, should be good.
So, Colin, I'd like you to pick the star question out of these three.
Well, it's tough. I mean,
Oh, actually, before you do, I didn't actually fully answer Geeky Craft's question, did I?
that's true. Did you
So-
want to finish it off?
I think I should, especially if we're picking favourites afterwards. In terms of my favourite weapon, well, when I was playing the test fire events, I was kind of heavily leaning on the roller, because that's a weapon which has a very easy learning curve. You can just kind of grab it and literally run with it, and just leave a big trail of your paint behind you. But I do find that just the splatter shotgun, not necessarily the junior version, does lend itself to more tactile or more technical play, where you can, like they were showing off in the original trailers, you can be running and shooting in front of you, then turn to the squid, go very fast in it, jump out, shoot in midair, and kind of repeat the process and keep your ink up. You can also do some cool things like when you do that super jump to another player.
Yeah.
Like about 2 seconds before you hit the ground, you can actually start shooting if you're holding down the button already.
Oh. Okay.
And so you can do this like not in slow motion, but whenever they do those kind of slow motion bits in movies when they're falling through the air while pointing their guns and trying to shoot at someone at the same time,
Yeah.
you can kind of do those things in real
You could
time,
do a
and that's
John
quite
Woo
fun.
maneuver.
Yeah, and with the the Wii U aiming, it's really quite cool because you can just like really quickly shift your angle from one place to another while flying from your starting point to wherever you've decided to jump to.
Oh,
So that's awfully fun.
that's pretty cool.
So yeah, currently the Splatshot, although I'm very interested in trying to get better with what is the rifle, because I am rubbish at that, which makes me think that has even more technical play elements to it. So I'd like to get more versed at that, but currently the regular splat gun is my favourite.
That's interesting.
So yeah, now that I've finished the question, would you like to be your favourite?
It's purely because I've actually learnt something that's rather intriguing. I must have to say, Geeky Crafts has got to be the
Oh,
pick.
excellent. And Geeky Crafts actually got their question in, I think, about 10 minutes before the show began, via my last shout on Twitter. So, congratulations. And the Twisted Fusion Beta Access and Digital Goodie Bag will be on its way to you. And for everyone listening, you can also send in your questions for next time. You can do that via email to hello@nintendovoice.com, or you can tweet to us at Nintendo Voice, and you can also win the same prize. We now move on to our final round, the bonus round. And the question we posed to you last time was, what Nintendo character should work at Nintendo itself and why? And this was all from the news that Nintendo had employed a new, was it head of sales?
Head of sales, yeah.
I can't remember his full name, but his surname is Bowser. And with that in mind, we've asked you to name Nintendo characters who would also make good employees. And we've had 2 answers from yourselves. The first is from Gamer P17. I would like to see a female bodyguard for Iwata named Samus, because she is kick-ass and it might make a new Metroid game.
I love that.
I like the final bit as well, because it would have worked on its own. Samus being some sort of bodyguard, yeah, kind of works.
Yeah.
Especially if you imagine her in like the full suit. But yeah, just because she'll be spending a lot of time with Iwata, the inspiration for a Metroid game may appear.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I do like that. Although, actually, I was going to say, for some reason I envision Samus being more of a bodyguard for Reggie, but then again, Reggie doesn't necessarily need one as much.
Oh,
It looks like he could handle himself,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
I just got this image of Samus being in the morph ball mode the entire time, just following Iwata around, and then just springing out, and something happens.
Wait, how? Well, as in just like another stealthily following him in the morph ball. So
no,
other people weren't aware.
just trails next to him, as you
Oh, I see. Yeah, so just so she's not like
in the way.
yeah, in the way or taking up too much focus, as it were, of this big robot kind of following his heels. Fair enough. Okay, we'll move on to our second and final suggestion from Frederick Bustles, who suggests Boo would be an interesting choice. He would be the company's spy, which is a good position to have. I don't know if Nintendo has a company spy, but then again, if they did, I don't think they would advertise it.
Yeah. Job application. Company spy.
Yeah, or just spy. I guess that would be if you were the company. We need spy. We need people who are good at spying. And Boo would be good at spying.
Boo would be very good. I mean, you turn to look and he disappear.
I feel his like special move is basically just the fact that he can walk through walls as well, or like hover through them.
That's
and
right.
So you may just be like sitting in this meeting room, and then you might just see his face pop out of the wall ever so slightly. Take a look around and like slowly back away until you can't see him again.
It's that's an interesting position to be in.
It would be. Although I do feel, because it's just the 2 of us and I made you choose the questions, I'll make it my own responsibility to pick the star answer for our bonus round. And this one I think does go to Gamer P17, who was the one who suggested Samus being the bodyguard for Iwata and hopefully getting a Metroid game out of it as a bonus. I think I agree with all those points. I think Samus would make a good bodyguard, and I do think the chance of a Metroid game would increase. And that's
Dramatically,
something
actually.
I would like to see. So yes, Game of P17 wins this last round, and the digital bonus goodies will be on its way to you. However, we do have a question for next time, and it's all about E3. And so we want your E3 predictions, because it's that time of the year. Next week is going to be our big E3 predictions show, and we would like to welcome you to join us with our predictions. So do send in your E3 predictions, and please don't make them safe. Don't say Star Fox. We know Star Fox is
Yeah,
coming.
it has to be
Um,
something unknown.
yeah, have it something unknown, and hopefully something not too predictable. But yeah,
Just go crazy.
send
Just go
exactly. Go
crazy.
crazy. Send in your predictions, and remember, we'll be picking our favourite. And we're picking this before E3 happens, so it's not the most accurate. Um, but yeah, so yeah, send in your predictions. You can send them via email, hello@nintendovoice.com, or Twitter @nintendovoice. And you can also be in a chance to win the Twisted Fusion goodies. And that does bring us to the end of the show. Although what I would like to do for the end of this show and going forwards is give out our Nintendo Miiverse accounts. And this is a bit self-serving, because there's a chance I could fight some of you on Splatoon, a game I've not mentioned yet in this show.
No, of course not.
No.
No.
Um, Although, because I am so kind, Colin, I would let you go first.
You are so kind. So okay, my Nintendo Network ID is Cole1990 COL1990. Easy as that.
And for myself, it is Luvian, which is spelled Leuvsion. And that is it. Thank you very much for listening. This has been Nintendo Voice.
Goodbye, everybody.